Okay. Um, it starts where it says competitive markets. If you're following my sheet, and so many buyers and sellers. I think thousands of buyers and sellers. Um, I would say identical products. So many buyers and sellers, identical products. Easy to enter or exit. Easy to enter or exit. When it's easy to enter or exit, you're going to get zero economic profit in the long run. So many buyers and sellers, identical products. Think wheat, milk, firms, easy enter or exit. Okay. Price takers, firms are price takers, and zero economic profit in the long run. So many buyers and many sellers, thousands, identical products. Firms could easily enter or exit. Price takers and zero economic profit in the long run. The next thing he talks about is revenue of a competitive firm. All right. And total revenue is price times quantity. All right. Total revenue, price times quantity. Average revenue is total revenue over quantity. Okay. Average revenue is total revenue over quantity. And marginal revenue is change in total revenue over quantity. Now, remember, in competition, it's Mr. Darp. So marginal revenue equals average revenue equals price. So all of them equal, all right? And I think that's important because sometimes in the multiple choice, they'll give you the price and you're looking for marginal revenue equals marginal cost. The price is marginal revenue. So marginal revenue, average revenue, and price all equal because of Mr. Darp in perfect competition. Okay. Now, here's just like how to do it. So for one, if the price is 10, 10 times price times quantity is total revenue is 10. 10 minus 0 is would be the marginal revenue. But here, 10 divided by 1 is the average revenue. 20 divided by 2 is 10. 30 divided by 3. So notice if price is 10, average revenue is going to be 10. Okay. And marginal revenue is going to be 10. They all equal. All right. Mr. Darp. All right. Okay. Now, one of the things that I like to ask, and just forget that slide, is so profit maximizer is MR equals MC. All right. And I don't know, maybe we could put, I don't know where this would go, but if marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost, you're going to produce another output. If marginal cost is greater than marginal revenue, you're going to produce a less output. Okay. All right. And that's kind of what that said in a nutshell. All right. Let me get these slides out of here. All right. He then talks about the marginal cost curve and the firm supply curve. It's marginal cost and marginal revenue. I want to get to the cost curve. This, I got to go past this. Okay. So here are the cost curves. So he goes to marginal curve. So the supply curve in a firm is MC above the AVC. So the supply curve in the firm is MC above the AVC. Why above the AVC? Because below the AVC we're shutting down, so we're not supplying. So if they ask you what is the supply curve, in a firm, it's the MC above the ABC. Okay. You got AVC, the space between AVC and ATC is AFC. I don't think they'd be asking you on this particular quiz because that was really the cost curve quiz. Where the MC crosses the ATC, that's productively efficient. Now, well, in the long run, remember, zero economic profits, you are productively efficient in perfect competition. Okay. And I think that, I mean, where it crosses the AVC is AVC at the lowest, but that wouldn't really come into play here. And I'm going to back up because they did talk about the shutdown. Shutdown is a short run decision. You shut down when price is below AVC. All right. You shut down when price is below AVC. When you shut down, you're still paying fixed cost like rent. However, you're losing less money when you shut down than if you would stay in business. You exit in the long run. Okay. Now, the key difference is in shutdown, you still pay fixed costs. If you exit, there are no costs. There's no variable costs because you're not producing anything. And because your lease is up, there's no fixed costs. All right. So shutdown, price below ABC, exit, price below ATC. You exit in the long run, no cost. Okay. All right. Now, again, what decides on this is kind of what I said, total revenue. All right. So there, you shut down if price is below ABC. All right. And this is what we were talking about before. The supply curve is the MC curve above the ABC. Okay. Sunk cost is a cost that has already been committed and cannot be recovered. So, like, if I sign a year's lease, I've committed to that. I don't take that into really my decision-making process because that cost is already committed. All right. Fixed costs are sunk costs. The firm must pay them whether it produces or shuts down. So you don't really take them in consideration. All right. All right. All right. Now, so benefit of exit cost savings. All right. So you exit the market when you're losing money. So if firms are losing money, firms will exit till you get to zero economic profit. If firms are making money, firms will enter till you get to zero economic profit. Okay. So you enter when firms are making money, you exit when firms are losing money. All right. We looked at the supply curve already. All right. So there's a question in the chat. Hold it. Yeah, Stephen, I would say so. All right. Let me see. There might be another one. Okay. All right. Now, how to figure out just remember, when they show you a graph, MC equals MR. Okay. So here MC equals MR, the price is 10, total revenue is 50 times 10 is 500. I go to MC equals MR, down to 10, 6 times 50 is 300, 500 minus 300, my profit is 200. Or I could look in the profit box, which is the MC equals MR, down to the ATC and across. So the height is 4, the base is 50, the profit is 200. Okay? All right. Now, in this, firms would enter because firms are making profit until you got to zero economic profit. See, okay. Now we're just going the other way here. MC equals MR. So 3 times 30, my total revenue is 90. I have to go MC equals MR up to the ATC. 5 times 30 is 150. I'm losing 60. Okay. $2 a unit, $60. Here, firms are going to exit, right? Firms are going to exit, all right, till you get to zero economic profit. Now, when you exit, you don't have any cost. That's the one thing in the long run. When you exit, your lease is up, so no fixed cost, no variable cost, so you're just out. Okay. This you don't need. Talked about the supply curve. Okay. We talked about if exiting firms incur losses, some for exit supply. Okay. Let's see, they have some graphs here that you could look at. They do them. I want you to look at the one firm. There is your zero economic profit. There's where you're going to get to. All right. Now, for whatever reason, Mankiw does the graphs backwards. Notice the man shifts. Right. This is going to go up to P2 in the firm because the firm is a price taker. At P2, we are making money. So firms are going to enter. So supply is going to shift back. And we're going to get back to zero economic profit. Now, they say the long run supply curve is perfectly elastic because you're always coming back to P1. So that's kind of like the supply curve. I wouldn't really worry about that for this quiz. What I do want to point out is when you're at zero economic profit at P1, you are productively and allocatively efficient. Productively efficient is when MC crosses ATC. Allocatively efficient is when MC crosses demand. Okay? And this is pretty much what you need to know for the quiz tomorrow. All right? Now, I'm going to flip up the practice quiz. Maybe I'm not going to flip up the practice quiz. Where the heck did the practice quiz go? All right, let me see. Can I get the practice quiz somewhere? All right. Maybe I'll just talk about the practice quiz. Does anyone have any questions on the practice quiz? If you do, just type in the number. For whatever reason, I cannot share it right now with you. All right, hold it. Let me just get this out of the way. Okay. Chat one. All right, question 4 on the practice. You can't do question 3 because the chart didn't get. But one of the things I do want to say on this practice quiz, no Mr. Darp. If you look like for people who don't have it, like there's question 2 where they tell you there's 100 units of output and total revenue is 500. So you know the price is 500 divided by 100 would be 5. And so if the price is 5, the marginal revenue is 5, the average revenue 5, they're all 5. So you really have to know marginal revenue equals marginal cost. All right. So Z's question was, all right, just occurred to me that really got to try to find the practice test to, because I think it would help you guys. So if you could try to stick with me, and I hope I don't lose anyone here. Okay. Z, can you see the practice quiz now? Is it showing up on the screen? Okay, great. All right. So you wanted question 4. So let's scroll down. There is 4. Which of the following represents the firm's long-run condition for exiting the market? So you exit if price is below ATC, which is C. Z, what tripped you up there? Does that make sense to you now? Okay. Now, here's what I was talking about too. Like, suppose the firm operates a competitive market sells 100 units. Its total revenue is 500. Well, 500 divided by 100 gives you 5. The price is 5. The price is 5. The average revenue is 5. The marginal revenue is 5. So it'd be 1, 2, and 3. Is there any other questions on the practice quiz that people have? All right, question 12. All right, let me scroll down and see what that one's about. Okay, so to figure out how much you produce, you need marginal revenue equals marginal cost. You have to find the profit maximizer. If all you have is the firm's cost curves, you don't have marginal revenue. That's not a cost curve. So you can't figure out how much to produce. So the answer is A, by themselves, they do not tell us what decisions the firm will make. Did that make sense? Okay. Any other questions? Wait, there might be another question in there. Just a general quote. What? Why do you want to make economic profit? Well, you want to make it. I mean, you can't make economic profit in competition in the long run, Ryan. But everyone wants to make as much profit as they want. I mean, they don't want to make zero economic profit. What happens is if firms are making profit, other firms enter and take that profit away. Does that make sense? Question 7. Let's scroll up here. All right, refer to 14.2. All right, that's this scenario here. To maximize the profit, the firm. All right, so here, assume a certain firm's quantity is 1,000 units, the output is 1,000, the firm's marginal cost equals 20, average total cost is 25, and the firm sells its product for 30. Well, if the price is 30, the MR is 30. So if marginal revenue is 30, praise, and marginal cost, if it's costing me 20 to do something, and so the marginal cost is the cost for the last product I'm making. If the cost for the last product I'm making is 20, and the marginal revenue is the revenue I'm bringing in on the last product, and that's 30, don't I want to make more products? And the answer is yes. I want to produce to marginal revenue is equal or greater than marginal cost. So the answer will be increase its output. Now, if somehow this said the firm sells its output at 15, then I'd want to produce less because the marginal cost of the last item I made is 20. The marginal revenue of the last item I brought in is 15. So therefore, I'd want to make less. Praise, did that make sense to you? Mario, where marginal cost crosses AVC is just where AVC is at its lowest. No real name for it. I'll get 5 and 11 also for you guys. That was okay. Now, on question 7, what else could they ask? They could ask you for what is the total revenue, which would be 1,000 times 30. They could ask you what is the total cost, which would be 1,000 times 25. They could ask you what the profit would be, which would be total revenue minus total cost. All of those are questions I'd be prepared for based on this scenario, which is going to be the same scenario you see on your quiz. All right, 5. All right, refer to the firm is in a short run position where price is lower than AVC. All right, so from A to B, I'm supplying 0. And the reason that is the answer is because if price is below AVC, I'm shutting down. So I'm going to supply 0 units, which would be D, A to B. Now, if they gave me this diagram and said, what is the supply curve? The supply curve is from C to F because the supply curve is the MC above the AVC. So I'd be looking for that type of question also. Okay. That's question 5. I don't know who asked 5. Okay, that's okay. Now, question 11. And let me just scroll through this. Let me just stop at question 8. I'll get to 11. First of all, the marginal revenue for every one of these products is 9, right? 9 minus 0 is 9, 18 minus 9 is 9, 27 minus 8. It's all 9. So marginal revenue is 9, which means the price is 9, which means average revenue is 9. So they could ask all that, okay? They could also ask for the profit maximizer, which is MR equals MC, which is, all right, so I know the MR is 9. I go to where MC at the 6th unit, 49 minus 40 is 9. That would be the profit maximizer, the 6th unit. They could also ask at the profit maximizer, how much profit am I making? Well, 54 minus 49 would be $5. all of these could be asked. They could ask you the price, the average revenue, the marginal revenue. All those are 9. They could ask you the profit maximizer, which is at unit 6. All right, question 11. Suppose the competitive market is comprised of firms of, okay. The firms experience an increase in demand that results in positive profits for the firm. All right. So if there's positive profits, new firms will enter. In the short run, price will rise. In the long run, price will rise further. Well, that's not true because, and sorry that this could be sloppy because it's hard for me to draw, but say this is the industry and the firm. We start out at 0 economic profits. Well, demand increases, they're right. Price is going to increase in the short run. But now in the short run, I am now making money. So firms are going to enter, supply shifts right. We get back to 0 economic profits. So in the long run, price is not going to rise further. It's going to decrease. In the long run, all firms will be, yeah, because I'm at 0 economic profit, so I'm producing where MC crosses ATC, so I'm producing where we are productively efficient. Okay, so it's 1 and 3, and in the long run, the supply curve is MC above ADC. But so yeah, anything above ADC. Hold it. Is that the last? Oh, all right. Number 11. Number 11 makes sense to you now? Okay. All right. Is there any other questions people have? I want to see, is there? All right. Okay. So there's another question from the chat. Since it says in the long run, prices will rise, can't we tell that? Ryan, it depends because the firm's exit prices will rise because you're going to shift supply left. So it depends, are firms making money or losing money? Okay. Anyone else? Brooks had one? I thought I answered Brooks. He had about the ATC, right? I said it would be the ATC. Okay. Any other questions? Let me just say, like, figure 14.4, you should know, like, what the shutdown is, so it would exit if it's below P4. It would shut down if it's below P1. I'm making money if it's above P4. I would just look at all those diagrams. You're going to get the same graphs on the actual quiz. Okay. Again, if I exit, I have 0 cost. I shut down, I'm still paying my fixed cost. All right. Same thing with this diagram. All right. Any other questions? Okay, I will be in school at 7:45 and another question from the chat. No, Mateo, I want you to draw the graphs the easiest for you. For me, it's straight lines. Like if I'm graphing, like to take a quiz or a test, I would draw the graphs in straight lines. It makes it easier for me. But you draw them either way, whichever makes it easier for you. Long as you label them correctly, that's all that counts. Okay. Okay. All right. I'll be in school tomorrow at 7:45. I'll be in the MRC first period if anyone has questions. If you haven't taken the practice quiz, I understand because, this was a shaky kind of thing. We voted at the end. Take the practice quiz though, because if you know the charts and the practice and the graphs, just like we did now, you can knock out a lot of the questions and anticipate them. Okay. Otherwise, have a good evening. Will the retakes have this? Yeah, pretty much. They have the same graphs and different questions. Okay. All right. Have a good night, guys. I will see you tomorrow.